Tervetuloa Hildur-podcastiin. Mun nimi on Satu Rämö. Mä juttelen tässä podcastissa mun vieraiden kanssa esimerkiksi siitä, miten Hildur-kirjat kääntyi TV-sarjaksi. Millaisia on kaikki nämä tarinat kirjojen ja TV-sarjan takana. Tänään mulla on täällä Sanomatalon studiossa vieraana suoraan Islannista Eppa-Katrin Finnsdóttir. Tervetuloa, Eppa. Eppa on aina siis ihmeellistä tavata, koska hän on antanut kasvot naiselle, joka on määrittänyt mun elämää ehkä enemmän kuin kovin moni muu nainen. Eli Hildurin saappaisiin mennään tänään ja Eppa on täällä puhumassa. Eppa näyttelee Hilduria tässä TV-sarjassa. Ja Eppa on tällä hetkellä eräs Islannin tämän hetken menestyneimmistä ja tunnetuimmista näyttelijöistä. Ja tosiaan Hildurin nimiroolissa Hildur Runarsdottirina. Nyt me vaihdetaan englanniksi, koska Eppa ei ihan vielä ole oppinut suomea. Welcome, Eppa.
Kiitos.
I'm so happy you are here. Welcome to Finland. Is this your first time in Finland? Have you been here before?
Yes, I've been here before. I came 10 or 15 years ago, maybe closer to 15 years ago, to a theatre festival with my high school. And we flew to Helsinki, and I think it took place in Tampere.
Tampere, yes, I'm sure. Yeah, they have very active.
Yeah, it was
there.
like Nordic. There was Denmark and Greenland and Norway, Iceland and Finland.
Was it a good trip?
It was an amazing trip. I mean, we were teenagers
Yes.
with two teachers, so you can imagine. But I remember it was like a fairy tale. It was very adventurous, and we tried this Finnish sauna where they had cut ice out of frozen lake.
Oh, you went to Avanto. It's called Avanto.
Yeah,
It's the ice.
might be. And there was like this stair,
Yes.
three steps or something that they had hooked
Yes.
on the ice. And I remember we went from the house like warmed and then back to the ice.
And it was nice. Or did you do it?
Yeah,
Of course.
Of course.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We will go to sauna also today later on together, so you will get to taste some Helsinki sauna afterwards. But I realized that I think I haven't heard the story. How did you become Hildur Runarsdottir? How did it go? Like, when did you hear about the Hildur for the first time and decided to say yes when somebody asked you if you are interested? How did it go? Would you like to tell me something about that?
Yes, of course. It started with Tinna Hrafnsdóttir, the director of Hildur TV series. She emailed me and asked me to do this self-tape for an upcoming TV series that she was going to direct.
What is a self-tape? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
I know the TV brands so little, so something that you did.
Self-tape is like an audition via video that you do by yourself at home.
Okay.
So this is like happening more and more now. And so you get a scene and you tape yourself, like get one scene, and usually that's like the first part. And if you get a callback, you will meet with the director, or if they have more callbacks. So first thing is just you tape yourself doing the scene and send it to the producers or director. But this was maybe a bit unusual because Tinna was directing it,
and you knew Tinna beforehand.
Yeah, yes. And we have wanted to work together for a very long time. We did Vigdís together, then I worked with her the first time about the first female president. I was in a small role there.
Yes, I've seen it. It's really good.
Yeah, it was very fun. Yes. So, but I love Tinna, and I felt like she was very invested in this self-tape. So I was like, yeah, I will do my absolute best, but the thing is, I hadn't read the book, so I didn't know the size of it or anything.
Yeah, because at this time, only the first book of Hildur was out in Icelandic in Iceland. So yeah, exactly.
And just recently,
yes,
right?
Yeah, so true. It was so much later than here in Finland.
Yeah. So I knew nothing, but I felt like it was something that I should do well. So I did that. And got the part, but then I just close to when we started shooting, I was like realizing like, oh, this is much bigger than I thought, and like
Yeah.
so like how widely the book have been distributed, or you had few countries, right?
Yes, it's 26 now, but I think at this
Yeah.
time it was maybe 10, 15 or something like that.
So I was like, okay, oh my God, I need to like nail this or like put my soul to it.
Of course. But how do you think, how is Hildur Runarsdottir as a character, like in your opinion? Because I think it's really nice actually that you hadn't read the book so much when you started working on the TV series.
Yeah.
Like, and you kind of like had an empty table that you could just put stuff on it, like without thinking, is it the same as it is in the book? Which I find it like really actually quite fresh and nice
Yeah.
to hear it. So what would you say, how is Hildur Runarsdottir as a character?
First, I read the first book alongside just to get the feeling of the character, and I think that's after that we met, and I had to just like read it slowly, and I mean your description of her and of sceneries and how she reacts is like very characteristic.
Yeah.
The writing. So I felt like she was like very a wounded soul, a person, and with a deep scar. And when we meet her at this time in this book, I feel like there's something happening. She's with a fragile heart, but a very thick skin. And that's very interesting when you feel this contrast in a person, because she's also a bit forward and work-focused.
Yeah.
But what I felt like there's some story
Yes.
that she has lived through, and it's like, she's very multi-layered. But it came, though, over that she was very, she was a delicate or like a mild person in the core, but still like with this front. So I thought like it was very interesting to find like who and where and how people get inside the shield. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
where she
yes.
opens up.
Yeah.
Because she's a bit forward, and I thought like, is she a bit like socially awkward, or is it just like a
Like a
escape?
straightforward type.
Or like kind of escape mechanism to just like be direct.
Yes.
Because if she slows down, she probably starts to feel things.
Exactly. I think you have, yes. It is like she's multi-layered, I think, and she's very controversial. I'm sometimes a bit lost with her when I'm writing the books. I'm like, of course, I know what she would do and what she wouldn't do, but always there are like some small surprises. I think she's quite closed, and she wants to stay alone. She doesn't want to she doesn't want to let people too close to her so that she won't get hurt more. But still, she cannot avoid getting close to people. She always goes to bars in Reykjavik and is like a chit-chat, ordering a beer and a small vodka shot, and then going partying with some guys, or usually like one guy at a time, like short relationships. And she really needs that. But then it's done. It's always almost just foreigners because they are just visiting Iceland and then going away. So that she's like balancing all the time with the issue of being alone and lonely, and then still urging to get close to people. So yeah, she's very, very a special type. And I remember I think Tinna told me this, or was it you at the set when you were filming, that Tinna is not letting you to be as like your character, that it's not, like Hildur is not sitting down so much. She's not like
No, we decided
quiet. Yeah.
we decided that in the shooting, because we both felt this drive, and I mean this. I think this has to do with it to have to go with foreign people or tourists or something to a bar is very social, but still they're at a safe distance, because then they don't challenge her.
Yeah.
Because I think she's so. I don't know if afraid is the right word, but I think there's some darkness that she has to work through.
Exactly.
But these people are not going to challenge it. So we both felt like she can't relax, because then she probably meets herself or starts to feel. And we were like fabricating about how we should portray that. And we decided she doesn't sit down.
Exactly.
So I never sit in the TV series or sit down unless I'm with a child, because that's so close to her heart, to
Exactly.
the care for children.
Yes.
And I think it's like 1 or 2 times when I'm at the desk, and in the car.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
You are not sitting down and like thinking, like meditating.
nej,
Jakob is maybe doing that, but not Hildur.
nej.
Yeah.
So I don't think you see her, or we tried, then we were like, when Tina was like on set, she was like, okay, Ebba, you sit here, and I'm like, sit? No.
I mean,
no, yeah, you don't sit. Okay, you stand here, so we had to like keep each other on the toes.
Of course.
But I think like, when you watch the series, you will probably see that.
Yeah, I think I have one, and this is actually a still photo, I think, from the shootings, is that when Hildur is on a beach with her surfboard, sitting down on a beach.
Yeah, with Lauri.
With Lauri, yes.
Yeah.
And this takes place, I'm not sure if this is the end scene or is it somewhere like at the end of the series, but it's very calm and it's a very beautiful atmosphere there when they are like chilling together.
Is it with Lauri or is it at the end?
I think it's at the end. It's the photo when you have a woolen sweater
that's
on you.
That's in the end. Then I'm alone.
And then the surfboard is next to you, and we are not going to tell what happens there, but I think that explains why she's sitting down.
And that's a decision.
Yes, exactly. And I think otherwise you are on the move all the time.
Yeah.
I've been seeing some like short clips. It's just like you're all the time going, and the guys or the other people at the police station are maybe like working on the desks, and you are just like running between them. And it looks very natural, but I think it's really nice that you made this decision of doing it like this.
But it was quite hard, especially when I'm at home with Tinna.
Yeah.
And we're eating a meat soup, and she tells me like in the scene 3 or 4 times to sit down.
Yes.
And I said to Tinna Raps, the director, it's so hard. I'm like a öli.
Yeah.
I'm so like it's so weird to go against the impulse when somebody is like, okay, have a seat, and I'm just standing there. So that was actually really hard to film because we were just like, no, she doesn't sit down.
Yeah, exactly. Eating while standing. But then it's also other thing that I remember this when we met after the shootings in Iceland were almost done after 60 days or something. We had a dinner together, just like with the crew. You were there, and Ottur, who is playing Freysi, and I think also Lauri was there, and Rick was there, and Tinna, and like other people from the production and from the crew and cast. And we had this moment when Tinna, we cannot like open the story too much here, but I remember when it was the moment when Tinna explained to you what happened to the little sisters of Hildur. Do you remember that case? Yeah. Wasn't it so that you didn't want to know it before the shootings? You wanted to know it when you're done, right?
Yeah, and I think that was just a decision that I made because she is so much trying to puzzle it together throughout the series. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to be like hold on to my core, Ebba's actress's core, like trying to solve it. So I just decided to not read the book and told anyone
Don't
tell me.
Yeah.
So I was actually myself just like, what could it be? And I think like there was some reality in it for me as an actress to try to solve it and not know. So I didn't know what happened when I was shooting this.
And the girls, they walked in the tunnel.
Yeah.
I was there that day as well when they were shooting the scene when the 2 little girls are walking hand by hand into the tunnel.
Yeah.
And you didn't know then what's going to happen next.
And I who and amazing. How and what.
Yeah, and what. But then after the shootings were done and we had this dinner, and then I remember I was there, and then Tinna was the one who wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
How did you felt at that moment when you found out? Were you surprised, or like what kind of feelings you had when this mystery opened up for you as an actor and as a person?
Yeah, I mean, if it had been, I think you caught it on camera or something.
Yes, I think I have it.
I was mind blown or amazed, but it came from the right place because I had been in this world and like acting against other characters, and in the back of my head I was like, has this someone to do with it? Has this someone to do with it? Like, who is Satu playing here? But what I thought was just how amazing author you are, and looking forward to do something, like do the next step, because it was a brilliant.
Yeah, great. I'm so happy to hear, because it was for me as well. Of course, I knew all the time what's going on there, but since when I wrote the first book, I knew how it's going to continue, but I didn't know exactly how would I put it in words, in what kind of order things that happened. So, yeah, exciting to hear. Because Hildur is filmed in Ísafjörður and in the close by area in the Westfjords of Iceland. It's a very rural area. It's like, I don't know, 400 or 500 kilometers from Reykjavik. It's a long way to go. Before the shootings of Hildur, did you go to Westfjords? Like, was it an area that you knew very well beforehand?
Yeah, actually, me and Otter, who's playing Freysian,
who is your
fiancé?
Fiancé, yes.
Yes. We do a lot of traveling in Iceland during the summer because we love Icelandic summers, and we have friends both from the theater and just from our personal life that live around the country, but many live in Westfjords.
Okay.
In Ísafjörður and Bíldudalur and Ísafjörðardjúp. So we have been traveling a bit the last summers, and we love the Westfjords. Yeah. But I have never stayed there we were there for a month.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so I've stayed there for maybe 7 days or something, but I really felt the vibe of the town.
And it was also the high winter. It was one of the darkest months in the year. And
still I loved every second being there. I loved it.
Do you feel that the Westfjords, since you know the area a little bit, and you've been there several times, do you think that it somehow... do you see it in Hildur? Could you have, I'm just trying to find out the location and then the characters. That do they in your mind somehow it's beautiful, the mountains and the sea, and it's just super visual. And I think it comes out it's so beautiful in the series, at least in the shoots that I've seen. But do you feel that this rough landscape and the very isolated location of the village or town, do you think it affects on Hildur as a character, the area where she lives?
Yes, definitely. And I think if I would think out loud now, you have this big mountains, and they're a bit you can both view them as beautiful and beautiful scenery, and that gives you shelter from the wind, but you can also view them as claustrophobic in a way. But then you have the open sea, so it's there are contrasts in the nature as well, and also the rough weather and change. I think you need to have a bit of tough bone to live there. And,
True that, I live there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what. Yeah, yes. Yeah.
But still, the warmth in the town, and people know each other. And I haven't seen all the episodes, but you can feel it in the series. People know each other, and probably Lauri and Rick and Ina and Minka and Ona, they might feel it even more because they come into this environment. This is
for the first time.
Yeah, and this is a bit Iceland, so I don't know quiet. We are pretty close all, but still there's some kind of mildness, but also the weather and the nature and probably the darkness, and this town is without the sun for many months.
So true. And I think for me as an author for this series, I have thought about it a lot, that if I hadn't lived in Ísafjörður, if we never moved there, because we used to live in Reykjavik, quite close to where you live, in downtown Reykjavik, and then we moved to Westfjords for 7 years ago, I think Hildur would have not happened. I don't think I would have been able to write these characters in that location without really like living there myself.
Did you take inspiration from the landscape?
I'm sure I did, because somehow like the quietness and the extreme, I mean, it's not extremely isolated, but I mean, it can be. If it's a really bad weather, there is no way out. You cannot use the roads, you cannot fly, you cannot even go with a helicopter or a boat. You are just stuck there.
Yeah.
So you are so much in the nature is stronger than you are, and you really experience it there. And I think the Hildur spirit in the Hildur universe, I think it would have not been the same. So I think the landscape had a lot to say in my writing. Okay, you never know like what would have happened if not, but I have often have this feeling that, wow, I'm so lucky we moved there for a while. I mean, it's a lovely place to stay. I love the people in the town, and it's like a big nature around us and a small amount of people, and I just really feel like home there, even though it's very complicated to travel there. It's so far away from Reykjavik. But what I found really nice, I don't know if you experienced this, but when we have this like extras, like like people playing, for example, in the scene when we are at the hospital, there are like nurses and like other people walking around like on the background. That they were all locals, like locals from Ísafjörður. And or the scene when they are when they are on the snowfall area, like people in their rescue team outfits, that they were actually people from their local rescue team, just in their normal outfits.
That's amazing. Yeah,
I think it was so beautiful.
It was amazing, and also just for us who come from Reykjavik and the other people, just to speak to them about their job there in the situation, and they had been in these situations,
like in real life, looking for people in snow floats, exactly. So or like snow avalanches, snow float. That's Icelandic word. Or avalanches, for the avalanches. And I also think that when it was done like this, the people in Ísafjörður, they also own a part of the TV series. It's not like some foreign crew came here and then they just did their stuff and they left.
Yeah.
It's more like we did it together. I've been hearing this a lot from the people there. Oh, it was so nice to see the actresses here. It was so beautiful to take part, and we really felt like we also have something to do with this series.
Absolutely.
And I was like, it's just like, it's really nice. I really love it. But talking about actors, Ebba, you are one of the most successful actors in Iceland at the moment, in my opinion, and in many other people's opinion as well. You've been doing a lot in TV series and also playing as in the theater, International Theater of Iceland. How did you end up as an actor? Have you always known, oh, I want to be an actor, or what happened?
No, yeah. I don't know what happened. I think we talk about it. The Icelandic word is bacteria. It's not quite infection, but bacteria.
Yeah, bacteria. Yes.
Yeah,
bacteria.
To get infected by something. I mean, I was in high school in the high school play that came here to Helsinki.
To Finland. Oh, a coincidence, huh? It's a good plan.
Funny.
Yes.
But I really liked being around the theater, or maybe that was just like the first thing I touched based on. Just I felt like this world was amazing, and my younger brother was in the City Theater in the kids cast.
Okay.
And they needed a babysitter, and he was like, "Yeah, I just told them I have a sister, and he's got your email." So I started. Being a babysitter in the City Theater, and also it's called a dresser in Icelandic. It's I help out with costume changes, quick changes, and then I think just something happened. But I was trying to avoid it. I just finished high school and was on a business marketing lane.
Yeah.
But I tried for the acting school in Iceland. We have 8 to 10 spots.
Yes.
So it's a bit I tried, but it was just for fun.
Yeah.
I didn't get in that time, so I went traveling and started engineering in the university.
Oh, really? Have you been studying engineering?
Yeah, for 2 years. Industrial engineering.
Well, of course.
And then I was always working in the theater on alongside, and I just loved being there. And my mom told me that I said to her, like, I could do this without getting paid. And then I went again to the auditions for the Arts Institute of Iceland. And I was actually like measuring, it's a pendulum going through a light. It's like a physics, eðlisfræði,
physics.
Like where we had to be doing it by hand. When I got the invitation to, I got accepted.
Wow.
And I was just like watching this pendulum refreshing.
Yes.
And when there came a yes, I felt free.
That was the thing that you wanted to do.
Yeah,
you changed.
It was my heart, but the practical thing would have been doing engineering. But I feel like I live for the theater was the first base, but now TV has also. It's the same. It's the same. It's different sides of the same thing. So I think I'm at the right place.
But this is so fascinating because I was studying economics and business, and then I ended up writing crime stories. Yeah. And you were an industrial engineer, and now you are playing Hildur. It's just like quite wow. Life is so strange. But like you said, you just followed the thing that you wanted to do.
Yeah, it was just like a pull, or so, but I don't know how it happened. But I didn't like have a set idea about it, or
exactly.
But I really like that it just like it took over.
Do you remember what was your first main role? Was it in the theater or
after
on
I graduated?
Yeah.
Actually, like on the last year of acting school, I got this. It's called a TV film. It's not like a feature film. It's a TV film. So I did that. It was like 3 months prior to my graduation.
Okay.
So I did that, but then I got a contract in the theater. So the first thing I did was the Doll's House, Ibsen's, but part 2, a sequel.
Okay, and that was in the National Theatre?
That was in the City Theatre.
In the City Theatre of Reykjavik, yes.
I was there for 1 year, and then I went to the National Theatre.
And at the moment, are you doing, you met Hildur that kept you busy for some months, and you're in the National Theatre as well. Are you doing some other TV stuff now, or is it more like mostly theatre on your normal working days?
It's mostly theatre because I have a permanent contract there. But for example, for Hildur, I just went on a leave.
Exactly.
So, and now when I've touched base with that, I really loved it. And it's a bit different because in the theatre you go through the whole story every night.
Yes.
And it's a bit more athletic sometimes, or at least the shows that I've been doing. And I really liked the detailed work in the theater and just like in the TV. Sorry.
Yes.
And I just knew okay, the 12th of March will be a hard day, emotional day, and then that was just over.
Exactly.
But on the other hand, you do your work for the TV, and you just do a take on this scene and you're going back and forth, and then there's somebody else who puzzles it together. So it's a bit like mosaic making.
Exactly. It's super interesting. There was actually 2 things I wanted to ask you about the Hildur crime series. First was, how was it to play with Lauri Tilkanen? Because he's playing his Jakob. Jakob and Hildur are friends. Yeah. And they meet, like in the book, like in the series, like they meet for the first time and so on. How was it to work with him?
I loved it. I think Icelanders and Finns I think the humor and stuff is quite similar. So I think we clicked right away. I really liked him as a person. And of course, Oddur was with us as well.
Of course, yes.
So me and Lauri and Oddur and Rick as well, we were always having dinner parties. And Lauri actually helped us doing our porch.
Oh, really?
He needed something to do with his hand.
Yeah.
And Oddur was kind of pussa.
Yeah, like a hio, making it nice.
Yeah. And so Lauri came there in his working suit.
Haha, perfect.
But I really liked it. And also just like a different language, and we were talking about just like how we work and how the working landscape is, and it's always a plus when you connect with
of course.
your coworkers.
I knew Lauri was knitting before he got the role, so he didn't learn to knit to be Jakob Husk knitting. But did you knit? Because I saw you two knitting sometimes together in the breaks.
I sometimes knit to just calm the nerves, but it's always like I have it on the sofa. But now actually I'm in between knitting projects. But then Ina,
yes,
I heard that she was like this knitting woman.
Yes, she knits a lot. Yes.
Yeah, she is very, very good at it. And so I took Lauri and Ina to this lady in Iceland. Like she has this yarn shop. Oh. And there I think I scored a point in Ina's heart. So we made this knitting club, me, Lauri and Ina. And we are still in this knitting club.
Oh, that's so nice.
We sent like photos of recipes and what we're starting and how it's going.
Oh, that's so lovely that knitting is part of your world as well.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. Then the second thing that I've been thinking about a lot, I think this is also taking in a video, maybe in your Instagram, I think. It's the because when we met for the first time, it was December 24, and I knew you got the role. I was not able to say it publicly yet, but I was like, we met first time in Reykjavik.
Yeah.
I'm like, ah.
Yeah, and you had like this blurred face.
Because I'm here with a coffee with Hildur, but I cannot show you who she is. Like,
yeah.
And I remember you had extremely long blonde hair and you've been playing in Frozen that season or something. I'm not sure if this had anything to do with that, but you had a very long blonde hair.
Yeah, I was doing Prima Facie. I was finishing Prima Facie, and but I was in Frozen as well. Yes,
and
I had a wig there.
Okay, yes. Yeah. But when I saw your hair, I'm like, wow, it's really long hair, just like Hildur has in my books.
Yeah,
she has a very long, thick hair on a ponytail. But
and I actually had like a surfer hair, like a frizzy, curly.
It was. It was really cool, and it was really pretty. Also, your new hair model is super pretty. But what happened there? You cut your hair for the role?
Yeah.
Why was that? Or like maybe Tinna, the director, could describe it. But I mean, you must have had like discussions about this.
Yeah, it came from. It was actually just when I was asked to do Hildur. There was Tinna and Ásta Hafþórs, which is the makeup artist.
Yes, she's super good.
Yeah, she's fantastic. They had this idea that she would have short hair, so I got like a mention of it prior to signing for the role. But still, I had been open to changing my hairstyle. I had been like kind of stuck with the same hairstyle because I had been doing a play that ran for 1 year, and then it crossed the next play or like some shootings. So I was a bit stuck with long blonde hair.
Yeah.
And me and Tinna, we had discussed it earlier, but we hadn't discussed like this short.
Yes.
Like some change.
Yeah.
And I actually, we colored it darker in Vigdís that I worked with her on. Because like my hair was a bit like of a character.
Yes.
It was a very strong characteristic. And but I knew somewhere inside, because I'm also like just a sports person and a soccer player, and I really wanted to just like take a different route, but still like it was very scary and it was a process.
Yes.
I
went twice to the hairdresser, right, to shorten it?
Yeah, first, maybe you who are on the video, you see, first it was like this, is like, and for you on the podcast, at the shoulders.
Yeah.
It was like, but then we took like 30 centimeters off or something. Yes. So it was a shock, but still like, okay. But then we had to cut it more, and like it was like in between thing.
Yes.
And it was quite a shock. I was just like, I called my mom because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna cry or there's just like some energy that I need to release. And my mom, she didn't say anything other. She was just like, yeah, but I think you will become a role model.
Yes.
I was like, I wanted to cry here, but she was just like, yeah, this will be cool.
Yes.
And then it actually was the haircut of 24, but not because of me,
Yeah.
but, or 25 or something.
But it is very cool. I mean, the
Yeah.
short, and because I get this question a lot from my readers who have seen some clips of the TV series that, Hildur is having a short hair.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, we wanted to, I was agreeing when Tina told me that Hildur will be short-haired. I'm like, cool, that's just great, because I liked how she introduced this idea to me. She said that I want Hildur to be like, how do we call it, like hjartengt, close to the ground.
Yeah,
like
and rooted.
Yeah, rooted.
Yeah.
And if it's a long hair, fluffy hair in the wind, in the TV, I mean, it's different when I'm describing it in the book. Because the TV storytelling is different from a novel. So I thought it's just, because she was explaining it to me so well, I'm like, yes, let's just cut it all off. It sounds really good.
Yeah.
Because, and her vision it was so right. She was so spot on it.
Yeah.
Because now when I see Hildur short-haired, I mean, it's the way to go. She's different from all the other police characters.
She is very different, and she is kind of unique. And I think that this decision, I mean, they are both like a very reyndar, experienced. Both Ásta and Tinna. I trusted them the whole way, and they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
And so, even though it was hard, it was probably just hard for my ego, because I was just like, what am I going to do with it?
Well, of course, and you've been like collecting the hair for many years. No.
Yeah, but still it was like I felt like I wanted a change.
Of course, and it came in the perfect time.
Yeah, and usually I feel like also what Tinna talked about, we see so many policewomen with long hair. So this is something different.
Totally is. One last question before we stop, or before we come to finish, is, do you think Hildur will ever find true love in her life?
Yeah.
Getting married or something similar?
I don't know about getting married, but I feel like the longing for connection is there, and I don't know if it's my want, but I see her like having a soul partner. But I think it will have to be the right person, and she will probably have to learn a bit from the first series, or like come to terms with herself. But there's something happening at the end of the first series, so I feel like, for her soul and for her life, I think she really needs someone who just hugs her and is there for her.
Thank you, Eppa. It was a pleasure to have you here as our guest.
Tack.
Tämä oli Hildur Podcast ja mä olen Satu Rämö. Suuri kiitos seurasta. Seuraavassa jaksossa meillä on sitten uudet jutut ja uudet vieraat. Tulkahan linjoille.